I would like to start off this video by asking one simple question. Do you ever feel like your content creation process is just a huge bottleneck? You spend hours writing, editing, and trying to get your message just right, only to feel like you're not getting the engagement you're looking for. It's a common problem, and it's something a lot of solopreneurs struggle with. So, what's the problem? I'll tell you what's the problem: the copy and content bottleneck syndrome. So, what exactly is this syndrome? Well, we'll start by using a simple analogy. Imagine you're running a factory that creates toy cars. The cars are coming down the assembly line, but suddenly everything grinds to a halt. Why? Because some of your workers are taking too long to paint the cars. Others can't decide on the right colors, or they're worried that the cars won't sell. Whole factory gets stuck, jammed like a traffic jam. Unfortunately, this is exactly what happens with your content. However, these symptoms aren't very difficult to spot at all. Ask yourself these questions. How much time are you taking to write or edit your copy or your content? Are you using basic AI tools? And how effective are said AI tools in helping you reduce the time you spend manually editing generic output to make it sound like you? And how are you treating each part of the process, research, writing, and editing, as separate tasks or as one whole unit? Take a moment to analyze your answers to these three questions. However, bear in mind that the consequences of this, if left unchecked, are serious. Why? Because you miss out on growth opportunities, leading to worse brand awareness and brand appeal. You waste your time and your resources, which can cause frustration and burnout. Your messaging becomes inconsistent from all the constant revisions, making your brand seem unreliable and confusing to your audience. And ultimately, this all leads to reduced return on your marketing investment, or RAMI for short. Now that we got the problem cleared, how are we going to solve this freaking problem? How are we going to solve the problem? Hybridization. Think about it this way: if you're just using artificial intelligence for your entire strategy, it can lack nuance and personality. However, if you decide, oh, screw the AI, I don't need this stupid AI stuff, and you decide to create it all on your own, it is slow and costly. What I'm proposing is to have a specialized, highly trained AI tool to write the rough draft for you, and then you, the human expert, make quick, subtle refinements to it. Subtle refinements. And this is a cyclical, flexible process that's much more efficient. So instead of starting from scratch every time, you're starting with a professional draft and rather than writing the whole thing from scratch, you're optimizing it. So now that we explained what the hybrid system looks like on paper, how in the crap do we put this thing into freaking practice? There are a few steps to a smarter content workflow. You need a clear and repeatable process. So rather than treating the research, writing, and editing as separate jobs, you bring them all into one integrated workflow. With a highly specialized internet connected AI tool that can handle all three phases at the same time asynchronously. Once you get the repeatable process out of the way, second is you're going to create the content in bulk and repurpose it. It's inefficient to create every single post from scratch. Instead, take one high quality, long form piece of content like a blog post or webinar script and repurpose it into multiple social media posts, email content, and short form video scripts with your specialized AI tool that you had in part one. That's the second part. The third part is you need a performance monitoring system. If you create content blindly without knowing in advance, or at least without the ability to predict in advance how well it will perform, it's akin to playing Russian roulette. You simply don't know how it's going to perform because you don't have the metrics to track how it's going to perform in advance. How do you solve it? Use a checklist that measures key psychological metrics to predict how likely your content is to convert even before you publish it. This allows you to focus on your strategy over endless tweaks because consistent, good enough content over the long term is what will slowly but truly drive your growth. Now that we outlined the solution and how to implement this system on a macro scale, let's look at some of the consequences of putting this system into practice. You get faster content creation without sacrificing quality. Your content will flow smoother so you can publish more often, leading to increased visibility and engagement. This builds your brand awareness and authority, which positions you as a leader in your niche. With consistent, high quality content, you will see better engagement and retention. Your audience will trust you and stick around, potentially even recommending your brand to others, which will lead to higher conversions and sales because your optimized content moves people through the buying journey faster. Best of all, you'll spend less time on content and more time on business growth. Efficient workflows free up your time to focus on scaling, product development, or improving the customer experience, which allows your business to grow faster without getting overwhelmed by the content workload. I have good news. Number one, you don't have to struggle with content creation anymore. By adopting a smart, hybrid approach and leveraging the right tools and strategies, you can break free from the bottleneck and reclaim your time to focus on what truly matters, which is building your business. If you like this video, feel free to click the subscribe button below. And if you would like some guidance on how to implement the hybrid system into your business, feel free to click the link in the description to schedule a call. With that being said, see you on the next video. Woo!